Hello, this is Tim Chambers, your consciousness coach at multilevelliving.com. Today we want to talk about the three power centers, three levels of consciousness, which have to do with the head, the heart, and the dantian. Dantian is located below the navel in the lower abdomen, about 4 finger widths below. And according to the Taoists, the ancient Chinese philosopher priests, the dantian is a vitality center. And it has to do with where you coalesce your energies that have to do with expressing physically, materialistically, in terms of a certain buzzword that's used a lot today, manifesting. So that's the dantian. That's has to do with physical vitality. The head center on top is obviously located in the head. It has a lot to do with vision or visualization. There's a lot of focus today in the spiritual community on that, visualizing in order to kind of, create your best life and that kind of stuff. So visualization, understanding, intelligence, the ability to conceptualize all those head things. That's located up in the head center, but primarily visualization. And then in the heart is the compassion, and the heart also has a lot to do with balancing giving and receiving. So the ability to take advice or take instruction or to receive someone's attention or love has to do with the heart center. Also, that would be obviously the receiving part. And then the giving part or the sending part or the assertive part of the heart would be the ability to give, to give to people, to give to society, to give non-judgmental service, if you will, to offer your services, to offer your advice without judgment, but in a way that you hope will be helpful to the other person. I had an interesting experience today walking back from the laundromat, and I'm there with my bag of laundry, living in New York City in a building that doesn't have laundry in the building, so I have to take it to the laundromat. Anyway, I'm walking home, and the street was blocked off to allow for like outdoor dining. Here in New York, we're doing that because of the coronavirus. And some guy had removed the barrier, the police barrier, and he was sitting in his car. He had backed out of the street, and the police barrier had not been replaced to its original position. So he's sitting there in his car, and I'm walking by with my bag on my shoulder, and the guy says, "Hey, can you do me a favor?" He wanted me to put the barrier back. So I'm like, once I got what he was saying, I was like, okay, yeah, I'll do that just for the heck of it, out of service to humanity. And so I replaced the thing, and I said to him, I know you'll pay it forward, right? Like go do somebody else a good deed. I'm not sure he got it, but there you go. Certain opportunities arise for people to express their service aspect in a giving sense without judgmentality. And that's the closest I could come in that moment. So the idea where you have the three different levels, the head, the heart, and the vitality center or the manifesting center or the action center known as dantian, the idea here is you want to have them, all three of them, to be enharmonic with one another. So you would have a combination of the three operating all the time in a good proximity to one another percentage wise. So what do I mean by enharmonic with one another? Good examples of that, like kind of being out of balance, would be someone who's very closed in their heart but very powerful in their manifesting. So you take a look at them, they're manifesting, they're wildly successful, tons of money, big house, who knows, maybe they're even the ruler of a nation. But their heart is shut, and so they can't really act out of compassion because they don't feel. They can only act out of the energy of the lower center itself, which basically has to do with security, safety, security, and survival, and providing basic elements, physical elements of life, and often to the detriment of others who are trying to find their own way along those lines. So you have an individual who's shut down in the heart, but the head center is open and very powerful. Visioning, visualization, ability to see the goal, to see the big house in detail or whatever it is, and very powerful manifester. This can, depending upon the actual worldly power that the person happens to be in, position-wise, can have big consequences to society at large. On a personal level, could just be somebody who's just basically selfish, but really good at producing things. So that would be an out of balance aspect. Another out of balance that is often seen would be someone who is blocked in their creating, manifesting center in their dantian, or weak there, but very strong in their visioning. So this is the type of person who is often a visionary, or someone who's kind of like head in the clouds, like a so-called dreamer, someone who dreams big but isn't able to manifest. And this is a type of person who often will like start projects but not finish, or will get excited about an idea but be unable to bring it through to fruition. So, and then, you have the heart, which is in the middle of the head and the dantian. So the heart is kind of the harmonizing organ, if you will, energetically speaking. And so with the heart, you have this more subtle energy that has to do with intuition, this kind of deep sense of knowing how you feel about things, compassion, empathy, sympathy, kind of our heart-related energies. Someone who, some people are actual empaths. They actually feel other people's emotions. Some people have this kind of compassion element. One out of balance energy that comes to mind here would be someone who is maybe too open in their heart and doesn't have that balance of the giving and the receiving. And so their heart energy feels other people's emotions or pain, and they're always acting to make them feel better. They want to relieve the other person's pain. Often this can relate to a lack of security on the security level, because it's like, I feel your pain and I feel threatened by that, so I'm going to try to protect myself by making you not feel pain. So that would be an out of balance heart energy. Imbalance heart energy would be, I can feel your pain, and I want to help you to better yourself so you're no longer in that pain situation. A biblical reference comes to mind about teaching someone to fish rather than giving them a fish, that type of a thing. Trying to help people to find their own self-reliance where emotional issues are concerned, where the ability to process feelings, and the other element that's very important around the heart energy has to do with intuition. Being able to refine your processing through your receptivity screen. We all have perception, right? Somebody makes a nasty face, we take it personally or whatever. So the idea of to be able to refine that screening, that perception screening process, so that we are actually receiving accurate information from our environment, from inner people, situations, circumstances, outer environment, and actually, perhaps more importantly, from our inner environment, being able to connect with our own inner guidance, our guides, if you will, and other more subtle frequencies that have to do with intuition. So having these three energies in harmonic is very important to ultimate success in life, which from the Taoist standpoint had to do with happiness. And happiness is harmony in their mind. And when you think of this in a broader term, it actually makes a lot of sense, because if you are someone who is balanced and enharmonic and basically have this sense of harmony about you that springs forth from your internal self, you're not going to need excessive amounts of physical, monetary, or materialistic things, items, lifestyle, if you will, that are going to affect your other centers and affect society in a detrimental way, i.e., selfishness or overly concerned about security to the detriment of the larger whole. So, of course, you want to have enough, and of course, you want to have a good quality of life. Everybody wants that. Travel, have a nice place to live, stuff like that. But you can have it in harmony. So, and this actually has a ripple effect to the larger society, which brings about a lifting up of the entire group, as it were, the race called humanity here on Earth. So thank you for tuning in and listening. This is Tim Chambers, your consciousness coach at multilevelliving.com.